Well, hello everybody. Guess what? I've got another tent and I'm really quite excited about this one because it's a wee bit special. And I've got a wee cover note from the French team that sent me it over. So check out the pegs, absolutely tiny. Registered about 15 grams in total. Poles, carbon fibre. 225, about 250 grams. The tent itself in DCF in its own wee bag, quite nicely done actually, nice and compact, is, let's have a look, about 780 grams. The bag is not much bigger than a large water bottle, and as you would expect in a tent this light, the poles are carbon fibre. How about that? Probably the shortest, lightest, strangest pegs I've ever seen. So when you actually unravel the dry bag, it's nearly twice the length, so it's literally compressed to half the bag size. Captive at this end for the poles, no eyelet on this end but an eyelet on the front near the door. So basically you've got two main poles. It's an Assaut tent, so it's a crossing X frame. And then it has a little pole, I think, this wee short one down here. Because the tunnel sleeves are just a wee bit narrow, so you kind of have to feed it in sections. I basically just make sure it's right at the bottom of the captive sleeve and then pull the fabric back from there. Let's pop the eyelets in, as you can see there. Just got this wee brow pole to go in, and again it's captive at one end, so we'll just pop this in and thread it through. And then at this end you've just got to be careful, you put the pole in, put it through this loop as well as the sleeve, and it has a short corded elastic bit, and grommet again just to pop it on the end of the pole. Guide point here, guide point here, but then they just use a metal ring and then go to one single tie out. Saves weight, keeps it simpler, but still gives you the strength of 2 points to hold the poles in high winds. I've noticed there's also two additional guide points along the side, which maybe didn't come in the original design, I'm not sure. But they don't supply pegs or guy lines for these, which would take it over the magic weight, I guess. But they might need to be put on in certain circumstances if you've got a side wind. So it's really quite an interesting tent this, and one I've wanted to get my hands on for a long time. It's a very cutting edge piece of equipment, and the best way to describe it, actually, having looked at this over the last 24 hours, is something akin to an F1 racing car. Very dedicated to one thing and one thing only, all about keeping the weight down but maximum strength, and just really nicely finished in a very kind of custom sort of way. So yeah, it's an impressive bit of kit, but it is an impressive price as well. You're looking at something like €1,600 without the vestibule, and the vestibule will add another three figure sum onto that. So is it worth it? I don't know, I don't know yet. Hoping to get to test it. I do actually really like it on first impressions, but it has just such high-tech materials in it. You're looking at DCF and a completely breathable canopy, as well as traditional DCF on the ground sheet, and you've then got Easton carbon ion poles, which again reduce that weight to that magic kilo figure for a two-person Assaut tent. So the tent itself, I think it's called an, I don't know even how you pronounce it because they take the L out in French. So an Assaut 2 Ultra is maybe the name, and it comes from Samaya, who are a relatively new French company based out of Annecy near the French Alps. It's an area I know well, and it was really nice of them. I got in touch basically and said, look, really keen to have a look at this thing. Is there any chance? And they agreed to loan it to me. So thank you everyone in France, that was really a nice gesture, and it gives me a chance just to try it out in UK conditions. My thinking is I might be able to use it as a backpacking tent and a mountain tent as well, being so light, nice and roomy, and if it breathes as it should do, then it might well be much more flexible as an option than you might imagine. I guess to make it more flexible during the rest of the seasons, it would be nice to have the vestibule, especially if there's two of you. That's another €450. So we're into Hilleberg Plus prices here. Stakes that you'll see in my video, they come from Swiss Piranha. They're very short red plastic ones. I don't know how if they're more designed to be in snow and ice, but when I use this overnight I'll probably take my own stakes just to be safe. The zippers are all AquaGuard, so to keep moisture out. Slightly harder to use, they're a bit stiff, but the whole idea being that they're virtually water resistant if not waterproof. The tent also won an award at the ISPO Munich show. And you can see why, because I suppose it does move the game on a wee bit compared to a lot of other Assault tents. The other one I can think of, which I guess is similar, would be Jotaro Yoshida's Locust Gear Jedi Dome. There's a phrase for you, which I've always really fancied as well. The thing I don't like about the Jedi Dome is the poles are internal. One of the key things I do like about this kind of Assault tent is if the poles are on the outside. And again, I'm referring to things like the MSR Advanced Pro, the Nemo Tenshi. I'm also thinking of the Mountain Hardware AC2 is also similar, as external poles, which I think is a great advantage. Black Diamonds are very, very strong. I've had the first light and the highlight, but they use internal poling, and it is a real faff trying to get these things in place and then velcro the poles into the canopy. The floor is Dyneema. It's 34 grams per square metre. The canopy is 2-layer laminated fabric, and it has an ePTFE membrane in it, which is just like E-Vent or similar to Gore-Tex, and it allows the fabric to breathe. The floor's 20,000mm HH, and the canopy I believe is 20,000 as well. Carbon Eastern Ion poles, as I said, comes in at just around a kilo for 2 people. The dimensions inside are 220 long by 110 wide. So I think what I'll do is we'll get this thing out. I'm desperate to try it. So the 26th is when we're allowed to actually wander in Scotland, and I'll get up a hill and we'll test it. So really all I want to do is find out is whether something is cutting edge, something is high tech, and something is single-minded can actually be used for other purposes. Can I backpack in it? Can I just take it for light overnights in Scotland in wet conditions? What's it going to be like in the midgie season? Because there's no midgie mesh in this thing. Is that going to be a deal breaker? So we'll try and find out.